How you guys feeling? Everybody good?
Good.
Yeah, look at Oleg. Look at the flex. Wow, man. I was like, you're gonna bust out of that shirt. Thank God's a little room. Um, so, so we talked a lot about this idea of finding internal or more of a stillness power, or understanding how to use stillness as a power on Monday, right? So, oh, somebody else just came in. So there is the week before we talked about the body's ability to shape shift and make kind of different movement patterns and find power in that. And then there's also power in stillness as well. So a good idea with this, if you're going to explain it to somebody, is there is power in doing something, but some of the greatest moments that we all have is when we don't do a damn thing. And sometimes finding your ability to not do something is as powerful as it is to do something, right? And history's got is loads of examples of famous leaders that just watched something and did nothing, and that was the best thing they ever did, is that they didn't bite on something, right? So we want to make sure that when you need to act, you act, and when you need to find stillness or that quiet power, that you're able to cultivate that. And that's a specific way of training, right? Now, when I say don't move or being still, that's a kind of a funny phrase. It's not possible to stay still. If you look at, you accept that there's movements in the body, like the lungs and the heart, and blood is flowing and pumping. You know, there is so much movement inside you. And then there's also mental movement where you really can't stop the thoughts in your head. This is really, really tough. And for those of you that practice meditation or mindfulness or prayer, you can see how it's not the same way every day. Like, you know, in the meditation guys will talk about the monkey mind, like where it's, you got to give your mind something to do because it just can't stop running around like a monkey. So usually you'll give it a mantra of some sort, or you'll do focus on breath or focus on counting or something like this to occupy the mind until it gets tired of climbing up and down the tree, which is the analogy you see a lot of people that study meditation or mindfulness give, that if you think of your mind like a monkey and you just put a tree in the room, and the monkey will just spend all day going up and down the tree because it needs something to do. So a mantra or a cadence or a number will occupy the mind till a point it gets tired, and then you just focus on the present, right? Which is really what we want, okay? So there is a power in being very present, okay? So that's kind of the overall thing, is that we're looking for a stillness, but it won't actually be still. There'll be a subtle movement inside you that you'll be very aware of, okay? And I mean, you can see that in many different ways, but we'll try figure it out today. And then hopefully in the martial art, when you're training, that you realize when people grab you or they punch you or they kick you, they're whatever they're doing, you can move all around, or you can find power in that stillness, and see if when you need that, right? So something to think about. Sounds like a plan? Any questions about maybe the training we did on Monday or the video that you watched? Is everybody okay with it? Okay. Yeah, no, we'll just motor through, but I'm just asking, just make sure we don't miss anything. It's good to talk.
Still working to better internalize the white light and how
Yeah.
to let it emanate out.
Take the chance, guys. I gave the analogy of a white light. Whenever you have a chance now to have the sun on your face, like go outside for a walk, and the moment you find that sun, like you see it, just stop for a second and just lift your face up and feel that heat on your face, right? Feel the sunlight. It's a really nice way of looking at it. And you just got to materialize as much as you can. And it's not a warm weather thing. It can be done in the cold in the winter too. Like there are times I've gone ice fishing, and I know if I took off my shirt, I'd get a huge tan. It was so warm from the sun, and it's an energy source. So yeah, you just got to materialize it, and hopefully it goes a little bit further today. Okay. That's what I'm hoping for. So let's get started. So let's just stay seated for a quick second, right? So the idea, because some people weren't here, is you're able to you understand, all of you accept that our bodies are energy systems, and they collect energy, and let me just mute everybody. Hold on. So we don't hear any crosstalk. Mute off. Okay. There we go. So all of you understand that when you want to understand energy, you're not in a position, and I don't want you to understand how to hold it or keep it or things like this. You want energy to come into the body and you want it to go out freely. You don't hold it. It's not meant for you to be held. It's meant for you to understand how to utilize it. If you want to do something valuable, is stop wasting your energy. I mean, I believe that we have plenty of energy in our, whether it's in the food we eat or in the environments we go to or the air we breathe or the sunlight or all that stuff. We have plenty. We're just spending it or letting it leak out of us in an unconscious way. So you want to be very conscious of how energy comes in and how energy comes out of your body. So if you just sit still and you imagine when you breathe in a white light, and it's powerful light. It's not like a little dimmer. It's like a really powerful light that goes into the very core of you, like right into the bone marrow. And the bone marrow is where that real good nutrition is, right? So you just envision that for a second as you breathe in. And then as you breathe out, you just imagine yourself like a sun. You're just busting out of light and it's shining in every direction. And the mental image is that you have power just busting from you. So when you breathe in, the light is shining inwards, and it's just as powerful. It's just shining in. And then when you breathe out, it's shining out, and it's shining out in every direction, not in just in front of you. Now, very good. So this can be done any moment you have a free second on yourself to materialize the feeling of a light in you and then also radiating from you. Now, if any of you ever had a good meal that was made by somebody with lots of love, a mom, a grandmother, and you know that you can feel that in the food that you're eating. It's really powerful. For those of you that like to read, there's a book called Hidden Messages in Water. And it was written by a Japanese, I believe it's a doctor, who, it's actually a thesis. He wrote it about how words written on a petri dish can influence the molecules of water. So if you haven't got the book, I highly recommend it. It's a beautiful read. It'll take you less than a day to read it. And it's called Hidden Messages in Water. And if you still don't believe that your thoughts are things, after that book, nobody can help you. It is not a fiction book. It's a nonfiction, and it's somebody's thesis in university, and it was spectacular. And it was living proof that how you think affects everything around you. And the simple thing of water, because water is a wonderful conductor of energy. Okay, so now, so stand up. So stand up if you're not already standing. And again, as you're standing there, find your center point. And again, breathe in, and this light is shining inside you. The true power of water. I see that. Nice, Jill. And then as you breathe out, it's radiating in every direction and shining in every direction. And what I really want you to think of now is that you almost light up the room, and you try to project this towards the walls in the room. So we're all in a room some sort. So you're literally, as you inhale, you're shining inside yourself. And as you exhale, you visualize lightening the room up, like literally lighting it up. Now, very good. So your real testament to this work, as martial artists, if you like, is when you come across a situation where people are quite upset. So let's say a crowd or a stressful, it doesn't have to be a fight, but it can be like, you're out grocery shopping and you just see people are agitated or they're angry, and that you're able to walk amongst people that are upset and it doesn't bother you. That you're so much light or positivity coming out of you that there's no space or no room for any negativity. And I've had this happen a few times in some interesting situations where people were quite violent, and I stood in front of them, not cocky, but in such a way that they couldn't even think of trying to harm me, because they felt bad about it. You could see that they were, there's just so much goodness that you feel bad about doing anything bad to this person. So this work is powerful if you can really hold yourself and believe in it. So as you're sitting there now, and as you're shining or kind of thinking of white light come out, I want you to take a few steps and try to walk with this light. And the moment you feel it's gone or you feel it dimming, just stop and breathe in and bring it into yourself. And you only walk when you shine. And just try it on your own in the room, right? And really feel like a light, guys. Really feel like a candle. So for those of you that maybe go to a church or something, when I hold a candle, that light, it's like, that's the perfect analogy for how you want your spirit to be. It's a light shining out. It provides light in the darkness. So it's really nice. So as you walk, it's like you're a candle. And the moment you don't feel it's there, just stop and breathe in and shine the light inside until you feel like you can shine again outside. Very good, guys. Okay. So again, you're saying to yourself that whenever I decide to move, it needs to be as a really powerful way of moving, where you feel that you have this light. Did any of you notice that your steps became a little bit lighter? That when you move from this like idea of a light, that you didn't step as heavy, and it should kind of come to you. I don't know if you felt it, but if you practice it enough, you'll find that you step just perfectly. You don't overstep. There's this the idea of light really encapsulates your mind, your body, and there's this concept of a light warrior. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. Has anybody ever heard of that? The light warrior? This idea of being light in mind, in spirit, in body, like it affects every part of you when you become light, like meaning lighthearted, like it kind of affects everything, right? This idea of envisioning a light will kind of start to change you mentally and your body as well. You'll start to step lighter. Your thoughts will be a little bit lighter. You won't be so heavy, you know, as in your thoughts and in your body, right? When I watch people walking, you can see when they have a lot on their mind, the steps are heavy, you know, when you're on vacation. But look at your vacation walk, right? It's so light. Yeah, I know. I see you over there pointing, you know, you're perpetually. People comment all the time. All my family comments. It's like I walk like I'm on vacation. There is not a hurry in me at all. Even in an urgent situation, I don't rush. You know, I really don't rush, and it's because I have like a light in me. I practice this, and I don't feel the necessary to be heavy in my thoughts as well as in my steps. Okay, so something for you to practice. Now, in saying that, there are times where stress will hit you, or there'll be some heaviness on you, and you need to know when that happens. So the real mastery here is not stopping this, is understanding when you've lost energy or the energy is being pulled from you and that you need to get it back or need to recharge it. So all of us know that with their damn cell phones, but we have no idea when it comes to ourselves when our batteries are getting low. And we really need to tap into this, because we don't have like a little icon or a little thing that shows us our battery levels. We just have to feel this, right? And there is no doubt that after a full day of usage, our batteries are low. So you got to see it like that, okay? Questions at all? Anything, guys?
No, I did notice that I was standing taller, which I think is related to what you're saying.
Yes. There's a lightness to the body, right? Guys, if you really want to feel this in an interesting way, I don't know if we can go now, but the moment you can get to a pool, okay? I know maybe now they closed all the pools down, but there are so many martial artists that I know that train in the water. Muhammad Ali used to do it all the time. And guys, he's the epitome. People look at Muhammad Ali. He was 220 pounds. He was not a small man. He wasn't like a little guy. He was pretty heavy, and he floated like a butterfly. And he did a lot of training in the water, and he became very light. And water, if you really want to study how to walk light and run light, walk and run in the water, right? Move in the water. How many times I sit there and I just float? My kids laugh at me. They said, "Dad, what are you doing?" Like, they just look at me and say, "What are you doing in the water?" It's like I'm doing old people calisthenics. I feel like I'm so old, but I love it because I feel light. When I get out of the water, how tired are you guys after an hour in the water? Just the sound, and your mind is so relaxed, and your body there's no gravity. You feel so light, and you walk like that, you think like that. It's so nice. So barring the water, you can actually make this happen as well, okay? As you walk. So try to think about that a little bit more and practice it, okay? But let's try with some exercises now, because we need to do exercises that first and foremost heal the body. So first we heal and then we strengthen, but we need to first heal. But we're definitely not into destroying our body. That's not any of what I want to accomplish at all in my health practice, right? So so stand up, everybody, stand up, and I want you to put yourself in like a half squat, okay? So like kind of like a, you know, the old, you know, like you're here and kind of like halfway down, right? So you're gonna feel your thighs, okay? So don't go so low. You wanna be about halfway, and you feel your calf, you feel your hamstrings at the back of your legs, the front of your legs. Like you feel all the muscles working, but they're not one burdened, right? And as you're holding this position, I want you to imagine, again, this white light radiating out of your legs. Like you just feel that power is going out. It's not going in, it's going out. Mira, you can go a little bit wider if you want. Just it might be more, wider with your legs. Yeah, it might be a little more comfortable, yeah. Now, the moment you feel that you don't feel the light shining out, in other words, the tension or the effort is too much and everything starts to go in, or you start to lose the light feeling from the legs, I want you just to simply stand and in a standing position and relax. So you don't allow yourself to work with the muscles to the point that they start to collapse in. You use your squat now as long as it shines out. Now, again, some days I can do this for 2 to 5 minutes. Other days I can do it for less. You want to make sure that the muscles are working, but the light is not shining in on the leg. It's shining out of the leg. And this is a good little benchmark as you're training. Like, guys, I've wrestled for an hour and I have done it in a way that I felt strong and not fatigued. I found a way of wrestling where I shine. I don't want to, maybe I'm breathing heavy, maybe I'm sweating, but I don't feel tired. I feel energized, right? I feel energized. And if you ever want to see some real wonderful footage of wrestling schools in India, Pakistan, Iran, they actually wrestle for birthday parties. Like they don't, it's a celebration. It's not a victory. It's a celebration of sorts. And they do not do it as a negative thing. It's a positive thing. Now, after you finish the squat and you sit straight, try not to fidget. Don't try to just still yourself and shine the light inside the leg. And the moment it feels strong again, it'll shine outside and you go back in the squat. So visualize, guys, you do not do a squat unless you have power that can go outside or light that goes outside. Otherwise, you stop the squat and you recover. Okay, awesome, good. I'm close. Okay, let's try something. Let's try something just a tiny bit different and you can see what I mean. So the analogy of a light is good, but sometimes under effort, it will fail you a little bit because it's maybe too abstract for this hard effort, okay? So what I like to do to kind of materialize it is in the squat position, I visualize because my feet are touching the ground, okay? They're touching the ground. So what I envision is power power going into the ground and actually towards the walls of the room. So I'll try to see if I can walk you through my kind of thought. So as I'm sitting here and I'm holding my squat, right? I don't know if you guys kind of see it, right? Holding my squat here. I got the power in the thighs and I'm pushing down into the floor and I believe that I'm actually trying to separate the floor and I can almost feel the walls. So it's like, I really feel like my power is going into the floor and into the wall, okay? And I find that I can feel that a little bit better than a light. Does that make sense, guys? Because in theory, look, if you're touching something, if I'm touching the floor, that means it should be part of my awareness. And if that floor is touching the wall, which it is, meaning the connection, I should be able to feel that wall too, if I'm connected, right? It's not direct connection, but I should be able to kind of feel it. So as I'm in the squat, my feet are down, my thighs are working, and I'm envisioning outward pressure into the floor and pressure towards the walls. And the moment I lose that feeling, I sit up. Can you try that? Try and see if that works for a minute. Try it for yourself. So instead of a light, you envision an effort into the floor and that effort carrying to the walls. So you feel like you're doing a squat on the floor and in the wall. Remember, if you lose that feeling of the floor and you lose the feeling of the wall, that means you're in your legs, which means you need to stop. Yeah, and then you breathe inside, you breathe, you shine that light inside the leg, you recover it, and you try it again. So the muscular effort is an external force only. You don't allow it to collapse inside you. Remember, you're always breathing. You're always breathing through this whole thing, right? Remember, the main idea here, we're trying to heal the body first, and we're trying to strengthen second, heal it. This way, you'll never beat up your body. You'll only strengthen the ligaments, the tendons. You're not going past the point. You're listening to the body much more. Awesome, guys. Come close, come close. I'm just gonna unmute y'all. Could you feel that? Could you feel it? Yes? Could you, yes, no?
Yeah.
After you mentioned to bring the light into your legs where
Yes.
the tension is,
Yeah.
that helped a lot. Before that, it was collapsing in.
Yes.
All I felt was tension in my legs. After that, I felt the muscles working, but the tension was a lot less.
There's
That's
so
great.
many, there's so many knowledges I can give you guys. Like, think of the muscles as like cables on a bridge, on a suspension bridge. You never seen those big suspension bridges? There's all these cables. Your muscles on your leg are like these cables, okay? And many times we do exercises and we don't realize we're strengthening one cable and loosening another. And then we wonder why when you went for a run and you slipped, the knee busted because the cables were not strong equally. When you do it like this, you will see any weaknesses in your cables. You will see it. If your inner thigh is not as strong as your outer thigh, you're going to feel it collapsing. You're going to feel it, and you're going to know I got to do work. Right? If you have an injury to a joint, a knee, an ankle, whatever it is, you're going to feel it now. So that means you won't go past it. You'll understand where it is. A lot of times we go past our injuries or we try to work through them. Be careful of this, right? So we're healing and then strengthening as well. And we're finding strength through positive things. We're not trying to find strength through negative things, okay?
Yeah,
So,
I find it easier to visualize this, Manny, when you're starting to reach a certain point of fatigue.
yes,
Before you reach
yes.
fatigue, it's kind of hard to have this anchor thought. But once your legs are starting to get tired, when you then play this sort of key anchor theme through your mind, the fatigue goes away. And now this, I don't know, strength or energy sort of dissipates into the feet and from the feet to the ground.
100%. Guys, how many of you have, I don't know, I've played on quite a few sports teams with there's certain people on a sports team that when shit just goes wrong, they excel. I don't know how it is, but somehow they've trained themselves that when, like what you're talking, that flip over point, when things are just about to go crazy or just about to get out of control, they can just calm a situation down and not let it go to that next level. Really, really interesting place to be in and a way of training yourself. So I hope you guys kind of felt it with the legs a little bit now, okay? Now, this can be any leg exercise. I don't care what it is. Like about a year ago, I spent quite a bit of time in a weight room because it was the only option I had. I mean, anyway, long story. But I actually went through all the old exercises I did back in high school, like weights, bench press, squats, the whole bit. And I never let myself go into myself. I would do any exercise as the moment I started to collapse or the light was going in, I stopped. You know, and I remember people trying to push me, oh, you can do more. I don't want to do more. I don't want to do more. That's where the injuries lie. That's where the tension comes. That's where ego is for, like this, it's not what I want. It's not what I want at all, right? So draw that line for yourself, right? Let's try it from a different perspective now. You're going to try it from like a push-up position, okay? But again, you're holding the push-up, and as you're holding it, so just to be clear of what is a good push-up to me, okay? A good push-up is divided into 4 bits. So if I'm 100 pounds, I'm not, but if I'm 100 pounds, there's 25, 20, 25, 25, and 25, 25 in my feet. So the push-up is very equally distributed. It's not shoulder heavy. I'm not all upper body. So I'm kind of more in the middle, okay? And then I shine out, and or you could imagine pushing into the floor and feeling the wall. And the moment you can't feel the wall, you can't feel the floor, you go on your knees and you stop. Okay, now the position that I'd like you to be on your knees, it's kind of like this. It's when you're sitting on your knees, your palms are kind of up, and I want you to imagine like more of a circle where you can start to understand how to keep energy contained, okay? For those of you that have studied like some Qigong or different things like that, the positions are always of a circle, or if you've studied some different meditation practices, the way they position themselves with your legs crossed and your arms in is that the energy is very self-containing, okay? You don't want to be like, you're not like this. Right? There's no way you're going to contain energy. So when you're sitting on your knees after you've held the push-up and you've lost the external or the light feeling, you sit with, you know, comfortably, and your hands kind of like this or somehow, whatever feels comfortable for you. And you breathe and you feel that light inside yourself. And then once you've recharged that battery, you go back in that push-up and you shine out or feel the floor and the wall, okay? Try that from a push-up. Let's go. I'll meet you guys all. Remember, evenly distribute your weight. You kind of feel like the front arms or the arms are pushing back and the legs are pushing forward. So everything kind of meets in the middle like a tent, but your ass isn't in the air. They don't want that. And then feel the floor, feel the wall. And the moment that dissipates, sit on your knees, put your hands on your lap, and kind of shine that light inwards and recharge your battery. Remember, this shouldn't tire you so much, guys. This should really give you energy. You're going to feel much stronger at the end of this, energized and stronger. if you have nice light in the room you're in, if you have lots of windows, I see some of you with beautiful windows. When you're sitting there recharging, use the light, guys. You have so much natural light hitting you. Just think of that light coming right on top of you and charging you up. There's nothing like natural light and not natural water, like a lake, like something like ocean. There's nothing more full of power than a forest and water and sunlight. These are power sources. Awesome, guys. Good. Come around for a quick second. Just unmute everybody. How'd that feel? Yeah. Could you feel that you were charging yourself up a little bit? Like you're using energy and you're getting it back? Like, did you see the play a little bit easier? Go ahead. Go ahead, Jaker. What'd you say?
I think, like for me, I try not to be, usually when I do that in class, sometimes you get a little competitive with it.
Yeah.
So this way you're just, as soon as I kind of feel I'm losing, I just relax and get it back. I'm not trying to hold it for like 5 minutes or anything. I'm holding it long enough till I get the feeling, then I let it go.
So if this were, if this were a car and you were saying, well, I'm supposed to change the oil every 5,000. So I'm going to push it though. I really want to, I really want to push it. I want to tell my friends I made it to about 8,000 before I changed my oil. You would understand that everything past that 5,000 is hurting your car. You just can't see it, right away. And the problem when we push it, there's nothing wrong with pushing it. Some days are amazing. You feel like powerful. Like some days you wake up and you're just busting with energy. Yeah, man, push it. Of course, you feel good. You have the energy for that. But it's the days that you're pushing it where you don't have that energy. Then now you're beating yourself up and you just don't see it, right? So, there's a reason, like I say to us, I want to be like a healthy old man. Like I want to be like, I want to be able, like, I don't want to be broken into 1,000 pieces. I want to get there and still have good vitality and good energy and good this. There is a way to do that, right? So you don't want to beat yourself up anymore. You want to make sure that you understand that when you work out or when you exercise or when you live life, you understand energy. I take it, I give it. I take it and I give it. That's all I want you to see. You're starting to get tired, but you're not broken. You stop, you get your energy back, you work again. But you're not going to the point where you're breaking down and you're broken. Have you guys ever seen those workouts that bring you to like failure? You ever seen that? Like some of the CrossFit guys will do that stuff. They just like do something ballistically, right? And I remember this really high level coach really high level guys. We're talking Olympic level coach. He just turned and said, so you're training yourself to fail. Think about that. Like you're training yourself, and that really is it, right? You're training yourself to fail. I was like, I have never been a fan of that, right? I want you to hold a push-up and keep it as positive as you possibly can. That's the most important. And guess what? On some days, you're going to do 10 minutes and you're going to be able, I've done it. I've held a push-up for 10 minutes and had good energy. It is possible. Not every day, but it is possible, right? Come on. For those of you that not every day can you scale the Himalayas, guys. I'm sorry to tell you, just because you decided that you have free time on Thursday and you want to scale the Himalayas, it might not be possible that day, right? That's just how life works. Certain days, certain things are possible, right? Okay.
I think to Jake's point, though, or not though, but what I took away from it is that because the rhetoric changes in your head, right? The storyline changes. You're no longer competing with yourself to see how much longer you can do it. You're more so telling yourself to send energy out, which is a completely different sort of inertia. And then the push-up is distinctly different from the half squat because you're engaging many more parts of your body. So you don't have so you fatigue faster and they're speaking back at you much more so. Right. Whereas in the half squat, you can sort of cheat because you're fidgeting, as you said, with your upper body while your lower body is suffering. The push-up is much more honest to you and saying, hey, you're not distributing the weight accordingly. And so you have to push that rhetoric much stronger.
Yeah. You know what's funny about this, guys? You're talking about energy. Sometimes I'm sitting here and I feel weak, and all of a sudden, like let's say I feel like I'm starting, all of a sudden, I think about something that gives me power, and you'd be surprised how that changes, right? Like I've seen it in a game where I played where I was so tired, and I saw something that was just incredibly inspiring, and in one moment it changed me. It's like, okay, I now have energy, right? I just saw one of my teammates do something incredible, and I was like, it inspired me, and it just changed everything. Like you'd be surprised when you think you don't have anything more left in the tank. There's a lot more there. And I'm not talking negative, I'm talking positive, right?
Adrenaline will do that too, man.
Adrenaline, yeah. Guys, it'll bring you back from dead. Are you kidding me? I've seen it. It's pretty powerful. Anyway, okay, so something to practice, okay? Something to practice. Again, to heal and to strengthen in that order, okay? Last one, guys. Lie down on your backs for me. Make sure you can still see me somehow. I can only see a little bit. And again, lift your legs up, right? Lift your legs up. And listen, it's your choice. You can leave them there. The lower they go, the harder it is. So maybe give them a little bit of a bend, not too much. And again, breathing and visualizing an outward pressure, an outward light coming out. The moment that is gone, you put your legs down and you recover yourself and think of the light shining in. Now, each one of these positions is quite different from a psychological perspective and from a physical perspective, okay? When you're lying down, it's totally different than when you're in a push-up or a squat. They will feel different. Yes, there's different muscles, but they will feel different because of the position, okay? If you really want to study how to give strength or power or light, I want you to feel the floor with your back. So take strength from the floor, because the floor you guys all have in your houses is pretty strong, guys. If you think of all the stuff that's on the floor, your floor has a lot of power because there's just so much weight on it. So if you think of becoming like the floor and take power from the floor, you can hold your legs up a little bit better. So you don't need to take it from, let's say, the sun. You can, but you're literally touching the floor. So try to take power from the floor to hold your legs up. And the moment you can't, that means it's gone in. Just put your legs down and recover yourself. Remember, take power from the floor, and it's that power from outside you that you give to the legs that holds it there. The moment you lose the feeling of the floor, or you lose that feeling of light, just put the legs down.
I have to go, Manny.
It's okay, Ralph. I understand, my friend. Thank you for joining in. I'll post it soon, okay? Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Awesome, guys. Good. Come down. Come on up. Come close. So which one did you feel the most? The squat, the body raise, probably the leg raise, or the push-up? Which one you felt the most sensation coming?
Push-up.
Push-up, right? Yeah, push-up's definitely going to be your harder one for sure. Depending, if you have some low back issues, sometimes that leg raise will be problematic too, right? But I've also healed my low back because I have it from old injuries. When I'm lying on the floor like that and my legs are up, I'm pushing into the ground. So I'm getting rid of all those little curves in my back, which was somehow problematic for me. So it actually helped me straighten my back out, to be honest with you, a little bit. So I find that pretty powerful. Now, how does all of this translate into, let's say, the martial artist, right? So when people grab you or punch you or something, you find that when I watch people working, what I see normally is their doubts and their worries. So as somebody grabbed them, you see them kind of flinchy or overreacting generally, right? They made a situation much worse than what it really was, to be honest with you, right? And what you want is when people look at your work, you want them to not see fears and doubts, but you want to see how you understood what was going on and you definitely didn't overreact, right? That's like such a bad quality in the business world, as somebody that overreacts to a situation. Nobody likes being with these people. But for some reason in martial arts, everybody overreacts to everything that happens. So when somebody grabs you, let's say grabs your arm, the first thing you want to do is say to yourself, did this energy shrink me or did it grow me? Right? What did it do? In many cases, when people start to insult us, right, you see how it brings us inside. The words even go inside us, our head, right? And we kind of, the light changes. We do not so outward, like it penetrated us a little bit, right? There was one time I remember a real idea of how good some of my teachers are. When Michael was coming into town to teach, and he was at HQ up north, and there were a lot of people there that have never seen him, meaning they were non-martial artists. They were celebrating some anniversary, and there were all kinds of people there. And somebody went up and basically called Michael fat, which he is. He's no surprise to him, right? He knows he's fat. He's quite a big dude. But he looked at the person, and in the nicest way said, "Why would you call me fat?" He goes, it hurts my feelings. He goes, but he didn't say it in a sad way. He just said, "Why would you do that? Why would you call me fat?" He goes, "I'm very sensitive about these things. You know, my weight is it bothers me a lot." But he didn't say it in a bad way. There was light coming out of him. And you saw the person stop, and he looked, he goes, "Yeah, I guess you're right." He goes, "But he was fat too." So he said, "But I have struggled with my weight so much." And he goes, "Well, let me help you. I can, let me write a diet for you." He took the guy, guys, the fat guy took the fat guy into a room and wrote a diet for him. I'm not joking. Spent 30 minutes with him talking about what he should be eating. And guys, if I didn't see it with my own eyes, I wouldn't imagine. But when I reflected on this, what was very interesting, because there was some funny, that was obviously funny, was that a person kind of insulted somebody, and rather than that person getting upset or internalize it, like if somebody would have told me that, because when I was younger, I was quite fat, and I would have just been quiet. I would have kind of gone inside me. But for Michael, he made light of it and said, "It must be because you're hurting somehow, something that you have, and you're trying to put it on me." In many cases, when we come across people that want to fight us, they're just scared and they're angry, and they just want to give that to you. And now we take it, and we never saw another option. Imagine if you didn't have to take that. Imagine if you could have so much light in your body that a criticism stayed here and didn't go inside. So much light that you fully saw it for what it is. That's quite powerful. Don't you agree? That's quite interesting, right? When people grab me, I don't get upset at the fact that they grab me, because first of all, I asked them to do it. Right? So why would I be mad at somebody if I've asked them to do something? So we're coming to martial arts. We shouldn't be upset at this, right? It's like a hockey player being upset that somebody's trying to take the puck from them or check them, because it's the game. Like, you can't be upset at that. It's part of the game. That just is accepted. So when people punch or grab you, you have to accept it at one level, that it's part of your training. And then you have to take it in the best possible way that you can, and not maybe take it too deep. So please study how to be light and powerful and shine. And then when you need to charge yourself, there's nothing wrong with taking a battery charge, right? In many cases, that's what I do as a teacher. I come to class as full as I can, and I'm giving this energy, right? But I got to come in with a lot, because I got to give a lot, right? I don't want to go home and be empty. And this actually did happen to me once. I taught a seminar in the States, and on the way home, in the plane ride home, I couldn't even talk. I had nothing left. I remember the stewardess coming around offering me some food and drink, and I couldn't even talk. I just pointed. I had nothing left. I got home, and my wife was talking to me, and I was just like, yeah, I'm not mad. I don't have anything to say. I've said everything I could possibly say. I brought myself to the point where I had nothing left to share. I was completely empty. And it took me about 2 days to get that back. And I never let that happen again. You want to make sure that you know that there's a base amount of energy that you need, and that you charge it up all the time. And you're always topping it up. You don't let yourself get to the point where you're completely no power left at all. Okay. Does that make sense, guys? Does that make sense? Even for those of you, there were some people that came. Oleg was in class yesterday. I was even showing how to work with this with strikes. When I pick up my fist and I punch somebody, I just think of a white light, guys. Boom. I'm thinking about charging. I'm plugging in a battery into the thing, like I'm charging a car. I am charging that person that I just hit. I'm not punishing them. There's not a thought in my head that says that I'm doing something bad. Not even a thought in my head. Okay. And when I'm getting hit, I let everybody hit me. Like I literally went around the class and everybody just had to smash me in the chest with white light. And I had to take it as a charge. I had to say, I feel great. I don't feel beat up. This isn't a hazing. It's not something I'm trying to endure. It's something I'm happy to go through because it's charging me up. So both the person doing the punch has to take power and the person getting the punch has to take power. There is nobody that is seeing this as a bad thing. Okay, there's not a room for it at all in training whatsoever. It needs to be, the number one goal is to heal and to strengthen people that we train with, is it not? Like, I can't imagine what else it would be. And if that's not happening, we need to be able to source back the problem and figure that out and solve it, okay? Make sense, guys? So take anything you do in stillness, public speaking, engaging with people, and try to find the energy exchange of give and take, right? We got the holidays coming soon over the Christmas, and I'm sure we're going to be getting together with loved ones and different. And watch the energy exchange in a room. We all have that uncle that will try to wreck the energy in the room, or that we all have that, right? Try to see if you've ever been in an amazing company, amongst amazing company. It's usually that everybody is sharing the energy of the room. Everybody takes their turn to talk and everybody takes their turn to listen and everybody really understands what's being said. It's such a beautiful exchange that you leave the party or you leave the situation with such a wonderful feeling of goodness because it was a good exchange of ideas. It was a good give and take, right? It's something that we always want to live our life with, not just train in martial arts, okay? Sound like a plan? Okay, I'll post everything. I don't know, I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was very subtle, but it's quite deep, and I hope you enjoyed it all. Okay, guys?
It's awesome stuff, Manny. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. I'll see you next week.
Good one.
Bye, guys. Bye, guys.
Bye, thank you, thank you.
Bye, everybody.